Facebook.
It's gonna be bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Hello,
it's all
Barb.
I can do not to sing.
Yeah. Oh, did I sing?
Yes, you did. It's all
Okay. All good.
Hello, everybody. I don't know who's joining us, but I can see clearly.
I can actually, you know what? I like to say I can see clearly now because all the clutter's gone. Right?
That's awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay, Anita, I have to ask, what's with the winter coat?
Well, I have a story.
Well, you tell the story while I shuffle and get us a card.
Okay, so you shuffle. And so I was cleaning out one of my closets, you know, doing some spring cleaning. And, you know, this jacket, I love this jacket. I didn't get to wear it very much this year because I didn't go anywhere.
Nobody went
I guess
anywhere.
I could have wore it to the grocery store or whatever. And anyway, so I discovered that I actually have a jacket thing.
Fetish? You mean by thing?
Well, I don't know if we call it a fetish and I'm actually going to delve deeper into the psychological, you know, whatever thing about the jackets. Yeah, because you know what, I found one jacket in my closet. I mean, I knew it was there, but you know, I haven't worn it for years. And I've had that jacket for 37 years.
You think it's time to let it go?
Yeah. Anyway, so there's a whole story with that. But anyway, so this jacket, like I say, I love it. You know, I don't know if you can see if I stand up and
it's so cute
a little bit. So interestingly, you know, this is the power of our possessions and how they hold on to emotions. And, you know, we have this psychological attachment and sometimes, you know, we're just not aware. So I bought this jacket about 8 or 9 years ago. I bought it at my favorite New to Me store. And I actually bought it not for myself. I bought it for my son's girlfriend at the time, because we always drew names for Christmas, etc. Anyways, I bought it for her. Now this jacket still had, good morning, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
This jacket still had the tag on it. It was brand new and somebody had consigned it at this store, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I bought it. I purchased it for just a little over $100. And I brought it home and I was, you know, packaging it up for a gift for her for Christmas. And on the tag, I thought, you know, well, I wonder, you know, who this designer is or whatever. Anyways, I found out that this jacket was made by a designer in Italy. And the price of this jacket retail new was like over 2,800 US dollars. Okay. And I was like, oh, wow, score for me, right? So I gave her this jacket for Christmas, and she actually gave it back to me and said, you know what? It's not really my style. You know, I'm not going to wear it. And so the jacket hung in my closet for probably 2 or 3 years. And I came to the realization that I didn't wear it because I felt that I wasn't worthy to wear a jacket that was valued, right, at $2,800, that I wasn't worth it. So it was really interesting how the mind controls so much of our actions or what, you know, we do. So when I came to that realization, I was like, hell yeah, I'm worth it. Why shouldn't I be wearing this beautiful jacket, this designer jacket? And, you know, and the other thing is sometimes we care about what other people think, right? What are other people going to be projecting on us?
That's mine.
And so it's all about, you know, how we, you know, the whatever we give that intention to or whatever, right? Anyway, so yay, thanks, Paula. And you know what? Yeah, I am so worth it. But it took me, like, it took me a couple of years to realize that. Anyway, so I put on this jacket today because I wanted to share the story, but also because I love, you know, I love this jacket now, and I'm worth it. And I didn't get to wear it a lot, and it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day today. And I won't be wearing it. I'll probably take it off soon because I'm already warm. Yeah. And hey, Arlana, thanks for joining us. Okay, Cheryl.
All right. So we had quite the morning with cards. It's funny because some days I can shuffle and shuffle and shuffle. I was telling Anita, even before her and I were online, I'm sure cards are flying out left, right, and center. Put them back in, and I'm laughing because they're like, pick me, pick me, pick me. I want to have a conversation today. So the one that actually wound up winning the contest is the number 2 card about art. And I think this is so synchronistic because Anita finally had help from her son.
Oh, yay!
Hang the art behind her. So I'm just smiling to myself going, of course it's art today. Art is going to be our topic, and the 2 is the number we'll touch base on. So, you know, you have to tell us a story about the art that's behind you, Anita, because it's very similar to one that's hanging in my office.
Yeah, you'll have to show us yours too.
Right there.
Okay. You know, of course, you know, and that's again, you know, goes back to how everything that is in our environment has a story. Oh, look at that. Cheryl has the twin art, and the card number is 2, right? Oh, wow.
So tell us the story behind the art, because I love this story.
Art has the ability to, you know, lift us up to a new place and to elevate our emotions, to make us feel good. And the art behind me, and the one that Cheryl has, is an original art piece by a very good friend of mine. Her name is Karen Phil Thought, and I'm going to spell her last name because you can actually go and look at her beautiful art. She has an art website. Phil Thought is, or you know what? I'll put it in the comments.
I was going to say, put it in the comments.
That's probably
afterwards,
just as easy.
And then that's.
Yeah. And so Karen painted these 2 beautiful pictures probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. And she, you know, had them hanging in her home. They moved to a different home. She had them hanging, I think, in her art studio or whatever. Anyways, she called me before, I think it was before, yeah, it was
just before Christmas.
Yeah. And she said, and you know what? I always loved, every time I go to her home, I'd say, oh my gosh, I love those art. And I felt at the time that she almost had painted them for me because I loved them so much. And I actually even used the images of this artwork you know, quite a few years ago, I actually used them for posters and marketing material when we were actually doing live things. Anyways, so she calls me up and she said, you know, those beautiful paintings that I did that you loved, you know, the Feng Shui ones. She said, they don't really go in my home anymore. I'm changing up the colors. She said, do you want them? And I went, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I want them. And, you know, of course, I offered to pay her for them. And she said, you know what? I just want you to have them because I know how much you appreciate them. And I just, and so I was like, yeah, when can I come over? So I went over, grabbed the two pictures, and they're really quite large. Um, brought them up here to my office, you know, kind of worked in a, you know, one goes obviously horizontal and the other one goes vertically. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't have room for both of them. And so I gave gifted the other one to Cheryl. And here we are, Feng Shui partners, got the number 2. She has this, you know, the twin art. Yeah, anyways, Arlana says it's her art show opening this weekend.
Cool.
And she's been looking for validation that focusing on her art is her
Oh.
path. Wow. Yeah.
Well, you've got the validation.
And you know what else, Arlana? This is really cool. I just heard this. You know, I just caught a glimpse of it the other day. You know, Ryan Seacrest, he has that show in the morning with, I don't know.
Whomever.
I don't know her name, but anyways, you know, those two people, they do that morning coffee show. Anyways, Ryan Seacrest had said, I just caught a glimpse of it. And he said that in the past year during COVID, art sales are up. People are buying sculptures and, you know, because they've been in their homes. Mm-hmm. Kelly Ripa, thank you. Yeah, because, you know, I'm not a celeb follower. So thanks, Barb, for that. And so he said that, you know, all of these things, the sales are up through the roof astronomically. And it's because people have been spending time in their home. And for the first time, they're looking at that wall and they're saying, oh, you know, it's boring in here. I need some color. Mm-hmm. We need color because, you know, even just like your flowers behind you, Cheryl, it's that it lifts us up. Yes. It makes us feel happy. And it's kind of like that thing about, you know, when you look good, you feel good. Well, when your home looks good, you feel good too, right?
Exactly. And it's a great segue into talking about art and ensuring that the art that people have in their home is something that lifts their spirits, right? Mm-hmm. That it is something that when they look at it, they like, love it. I mean, I get to look at this absolutely breathtaking piece of art that your friend painted every day because it's right in my visual from my desk. Love it. I absolutely love that piece of art. And I can see it being there for a long time to come. But yeah, your art needs to speak to you. It needs to fill you up. And what is more joy-giving than art that you've created or art that a friend or family member has created for you? Mm-hmm. Right? Those memories that when someone gifts you something, like you could see Anita's energy just talking about these two pieces of art from her friend, right? Her whole face, her whole energy lights up when she talks about the story. So what are you looking at in your homes or in your office spaces? Are you looking at something that is filling you with joy? Really, because that's the bottom line. You want to elicit those positive emotions.
Well, and you know, the other thing that's really interesting, Cheryl, like when you and I go into people's homes and do Feng Shui consultations with them, and we'll ask them about, you know, a piece of art or something on the wall, and we'll say, tell me about this. And, you know, or maybe it's hung, you know, way up high or something like that. And it's really interesting that quite often, and I'm going to just, you know, shoot a number out there and say like 80% of the time, people will hang a picture on the wall, a piece of art, and they'll put it in that spot only because there was already a nail in the wall.
Yep.
Okay. So interesting, so it might not suit the room, or they might not even like the image, but they just stick something there because there's a nail on the wall.
Okay? They want something on there.
That's where we come in with our Feng Shui eyes, and we have to start seeing things energetically.
Yes.
And know that artwork, has to have deep meaning for you. And, what is that image impressing upon, or, impregnating the subconscious mind with over and over again. Mm-hmm. Somebody I know who's not with us today, but might listen to this in the future, has a picture of a wolf, a big wolf, and it's an artwork, at their front door. Okay. So the art was painted by a well-known artist, mm-hmm. So there's beauty in that. However, you have to consider, why am I keeping it because I paid a lot of money for it? And because it's, somebody's, famed, they're famed for their artistry. And what does the wolf at the door signify?
And if it's at the door, is that if I'm a guest, am I being greeted by a wolf?
Yeah, it would make you feel uncomfortable. Similarly, we actually had a Zoom call, Cheryl and I, with a friend of ours not long ago. And there was a piece of art hanging behind
over the bed
in our Zoom. And we both, in our Zoom call, we were just like, we were drawn to that artwork, but it was not uplifting. It felt it made us feel
derogatory,
disempowered. Yeah. Right. And it was just what we were looking at through the Zoom.
And its location, like beautiful, and a friend of theirs painted it and they quite liked it, but what subliminal effect it was having on their relationship could be a completely different story.
Right. And so, again, so that artwork, had deep personal meaning for them, mm-hmm. but the place of it was not to be in a bedroom. Yes. Right.
Yeah. That was another Zoom call I had with another lady. Beautiful piece of art. In fact, she had two of them and they were huge. And I asked her about them. She's had them for years. They've moved from house to house to house, relationship. And they were of a single woman.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And it was in the bedroom.
Oh, yeah. So she was likely the only one sleeping in that bed.
Well, when she had the realization, it was like, okay, these are gone. Thank you. Mm-hmm. But you have to have that realization. What are you subconsciously training yourself with? Mm-hmm. Anita, we're already at 19 after. Of course we are. We got to talk about the number 2. We got to talk about the number 2 because it's probably one of my favorite numbers.
Okay, well then you talk about it.
Oh. Okay, well, I love it being one of my favorite numbers because of the line at the bottom and stability. And Adironda talks a lot about setting the foundation and creating your foundation. And although mm-hmm. it's a little curvy at the top and unstable, that solid foundation, to me, is what the number 2 is all about and what it represents.
Yeah.
You can be duality is another topic that comes with the number 2. Cooperation, partnerships like Anita and I, and the 2 pictures, and coincidentally, what do you say? Coinky-dinkies?
Coinky-dinkies. Yeah.
That's funny.
Coinky-dinkies. That's what our friend Lee Carroll says. Coinky-dink.
Yeah. So 2 is quite often important for people that are empaths and empathy, which I find very fascinating because I'm quite empathic. And I thought, you're right, because you're taking on the energy of the other person if you're unaware of it, and you're trying to balance it with yours.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go so well.
Mm-hmm.
So your version of number 2, Anita.
Well, I think you've, covered all of that really well. And I think that, it could be, maybe the reason that it came up today is that quite often we, especially as women, I know we have a couple of men listening to this today, but especially women, we have a hard time asking for help. And we think we have to do everything on our own and whatever. So maybe this is also our reminder about, it's okay to ask for help and that you don't have to go alone, that there's always going to be, because you know what, Cheryl, if you asked me today, Anita, can you do blah, 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 something for me? I absolutely would drop and go, right? That's my, just drop and go. Yes, if you need something, I'm there because, you're my buddy. Paula, if you needed something today, boom, I'd be there for you, right? And so we do that. But for us to say, hey, Cheryl, I really need your help today. Could you give me some time? We have a hard time doing that, right? Yes. So I think today the number 2 is maybe, that little coinky dink or that reminder for us that it's about, it's okay to ask for some help and do some of that. Yeah.
Well, and I think there's other partnerships between us and the unseen. We talk about Feng Shui and the F word all the time, and the two words themselves mean wind and water, the unseen and the seen energies, right? So there's that duality again. We have partnerships. I do this because usually when I'm in channel, they're back here, right? So we have the unseen partnerships that are with us all the time, and they're more than happy to help us. All we got to do is say, okay, spirit, I'm done with this. Can you deal with it for me? Because I'm done. Let it go. Let it go. That's a big partnership we have to remember we have.
Huge partnership. Yeah. And I know Paula tomorrow, if anybody wants to jump on to Paula Meyer's Facebook page tomorrow, she's actually going to be supporting her friend, Sunny Dawn Johnston, in releasing a new quantum card deck. And Sunny has all that experience with all of those archangels and working with that unseen energy, those are spirit guides, and sharpening our intuition and all of that. So again, if you're not comfortable asking for help from a friend, then absolutely ask for help. Ask for that guidance from that unseen energy, because, we've always said this too, Cheryl, that unseen energy is more powerful. Like it's 100 times more powerful than anything that we can see, feel, and touch.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And did you say another card deck? I'm like,
Sunny Dawn Johnston, head on.
Very cool.
It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to be supporting those 2 gals.
Yay.
Because guess what, Paula? I don't know if you know this, but thanks to Paula, I'm actually going to be a guest on Sunny's podcast in a couple weeks.
Oh, very cool. Yay. Nice. Nice. Well, I guess I know my next card deck.
Yeah.
It's not a need. That's so, you were talking about the coats and a problem with coats.
Coats.
I'm starting to have a problem with card decks.
Card decks. Yeah. And you know what? Some of us have problem with, I used to be a shoe person, and then I was a purse person for a while, but and honestly, I have jackets, and I'll tell you more about my jackets. I'm going to wear another jacket next week because it has a story too. And it's kind of like that 37-year-old vintage one. Anyways, I have to get to the bottom of why
protection.
This feeling of holding on to jackets for
what does a jacket do? It protects you.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to just throw it off. Hey? Whoa, okay. All
right.
Okay, I'm liberated.
I can see clearly now.
I can see clearly now. Oh, sisters Jeanette and Polly are back from Mexico. And there they are.
And it is here in Alberta anyway, going to be a bright sunshiny day.
It is. Okay, let's everybody sing.
The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Okay, I'm gonna go dance some more. Hey, we love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, hey Nathan, thanks for joining us. And if anybody wants to jump on over tomorrow to Paula Meyer's page and or Sunny Dawn Johnson and check out the new Quantum Angel card deck. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, and
Cool.
Paula just has a card deck too. Yeah, we gotta talk about that next week. Okay, love you guys.
Bye.